Yes, and welcome back to SHOCKTOBERFEST 2021. For day 3, we have a classic that I wouldn't say that I'm biased on, but I do enjoy the story. We are going to be talking about Dario Argento's 1977 classic, Suspiria. We're not talking about that remake that came out, folks. I watched a couple bits, and quite frankly, not a big fan. So, we're going to talk about the OG classic today. Our story is about a dancing school in Germany where a lot of odd and suspicious things are going around, especially students getting killed off. And while this is going on, an American dancer named Susie Banyan comes to the school, and also we find out that her aunt was a benefactor at this school, so she has a little bit of bragging right, maybe a little bit of a legacy, if you will. While she's there, she starts noticing some things herself, starts asking some questions, and eventually something happens. She realizes that some of the people working at this school aren't who they seem to be. They flash some light on her at one point, and she starts seeing imagery. Supernatural imagery. Things that are not good for you to see unless you're going to die. Well, while she's talking to some of her friends at the school, they look into it, and they get picked off one by one. Then it turns out that this school is run by a coven of witches. Ooh, big twist. So pretty much at the end of this movie, Susie Banyan has to follow footsteps, investigate, and figure out how to dispel the evil. And when she does, the school completely crumbles to nothingness. That's it. I mean, it's a very plain and simple movie. And you know what? Sometimes plain and simple is good. That's what I love about this movie. It starts off with a death, a very gruesome death. And then you have more things happening, and the main character starts to catch on, while everybody else is ignorant to it, until it's too late. And then eventually, boom! It was an easy fix. Sometimes, an easy fix is all you need. I know, that came out wrong. However, in a horror movie, sometimes it's all you need. I'm going to talk about what I like and what I don't like about this movie. What I love about this movie is definitely the Italian horror and the horror and gore of this movie. Back in the 70s, you could get away with a lot. I mean, look at George Romero's Dawn of the Dead 2 years later, with all of the blood and everything else that was involved. Also the music. I mean, Dario Argento had a band called Goblins, which, here's a little trivia fact, Goblins was the band that did the music for 1979's Dawn of the Dead by George A. Romero, so it goes hand in hand. Now we're going to talk about the cast. Now, there is not a lot of big names in this film. The one that I know that has had a lot of experience was Jessica Harper. Most people that are in the horror movie fan base, or much less the Rocky horror fan base, she played the recasting of Janet in the 1981 sequel, Shock Treatment. Other than that, she was in a late 80s, early 90s film pretty much called The Hunchback of UCLA, otherwise known as Big Man on Campus, as a professor who is trying to keep the Hunchback from being a student at the college. I know, it's a weird movie, but Tom Skerritt's in it too, so you know what? Go watch it. It's on YouTube. You can find it. The only other person that I know that's in this movie is Udo Kier, who was more of a character actor. He was in it for a brief moment in this film, but a lot of people might know him as the philanthropist and kind of snobbish millionaire in Ace Ventura that has the party where Ace falls into the shark tank, and as well as being one of the vampire elites in the original Blade movie with Wesley Snipes. He's the one who gets pretty much his fangs pulled out at the beach and gets caught on fire. That's about all I can give you on that one. When it comes to things that I don't like about it, I know that I said simplicity is great. The simplicity is great in this film. I mean, pretty much the facts are there, and you just have to get that moment where the main character comes to that realization. However, I feel this movie is a little too short for that, because it just, for me, I felt like the movie just kind of, it came and went. It just happened. It was like, almost like a very short roller coaster ride. And I think had they probably added in a few more kills within some of the students there, or maybe a couple more jump scares. I mean, there was one jump scare where maggots are falling through the cracks of the building, and I mean, that was pretty intense to see, say the least. But like I said, if they added a couple more kills, because if my mind serves me right, there are only about three main kills in this movie, and it starts at the beginning, about 20 minutes in, about another 20 minutes in. I mean, there's just a lot of quiet in there, and had they added a couple more in there, I mean, hey, Dario Argento could have been off to the races even more so. But other than that, it is a very structured film and very simple film that you can really get into. When it comes to grading this, I am going to give it a little bit of a lower grade than I have on the other two films that I did recently, because I was being a little biased. And yes, I am kind of biased on this film. However, like I said, sometimes with a horror film, you can't really get a lot of time length in there. I mean, usually most horror films, especially from the 70s and 80s, go for about, I'd say, 80 minutes to maybe an hour and a half, maybe. I mean, the first Friday the 13th was an hour and 20 minutes long at best. However, nowadays you get 2 hour, 2.5 hour, almost 3 hour horror films, and we can still be invested. So, going back in retrospect, not really much of an excuse. And the kills. I mean, only 3, and that was just kind of, I mean, 3 of the main character, or 3 characters in general that are considered good. For a horror film, that's a little lazy. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a solid B. I want to give it a B+, but it's just the kill factor. You know, with me, when I see a horror movie, I want to see a kill count. I'm sorry, not sorry. You can call me weird, you can call me crazy for that matter, but you know what? I guarantee you're all thinking the same thing when you go back and watch this film. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you leave a thumbs up. Hell, leave a thumbs down if you want to, if you don't like the review that I gave. It's okay, you know, because everybody is entitled to their opinion. It's okay. If there are some things that you saw in the film that I didn't see, we got a comment section below. Make sure that you leave a message. Let me know if there's something I missed, or let me know if there's something that I could have improved on while talking about the film. Other than that, we hope you make sure you push that little red button, and don't forget to ring that bell for instant notifications on Dragonfire Entertainment. Other than that, we hope you had fun, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 4 of SHOCKTOBERFEST 2021. Stay tuned and stay scared.